In this video, we'll look at how to assign roles. In the last video, we looked at the integrating AD with VRA. So in this particular video, we'll look at how do we assign roles and delegate permissions on the VRA environment. So we have organization, and under this we have four major services. Which we would see cloud assembly, then we would see service broker, then we would see code stream, then we would see orchestrator. These are individual components which provides individual functionality in the VRA. As we would see cloud assembly, more it basically provides the adding of a cloud accounts, creating cloud zones, like infrastructure projects. We would see something like images, libraries, or like flavors, something which we create. More of basically the cloud assembly we'll talk about from an infrastructure point. Then we would see service broker, more of basically like catalogs, approvals, policies, then assigning services to users, that is mapping of users to services. Like we would see where service broker more of basically a service management, where allocating the services to the users. Then we would see a code stream which is more into the DevOps, like integrating continuous integration and continuous deployment of code into web servers. And we would see orchestrator where we allows us to create a custom workflows and allows you to extend a VRA to any API. So we call it as an X as a service or everything as a service. Now in an organization, we would see different people. There could be a developer who is responsible for developing the workflows. There could be a set of people who are responsible for assigning the services to the users. Maybe a security team is responsible, saying that who can access the what kind of services, governance. And there could be a set of administrators who are responsible for adding the capacity, building the clusters, then establishing the connections. Like we would see that, and there could be developers who are deploying their applications into the web servers using a DevOps kind of a tools. So as we see a different set of people in the organizations which comes onto the VRA in terms of the administration and managing it. That is why they've divided into 4 different components. Now, when it comes to the roles, so we have organization-wide roles. We call them as an organization-wide roles. So organization-wide roles have certain permissions across the organization. So when it comes to the organization means we are talking about from all the 4 components. But however, there are 2 different roles which are available. One is an organization owner and organization member. So the organization owner will get privileges in terms of assigning permissions and assign permissions to the users or edit the existing roles. So the organization owner gets some additional privileges wherein he would be able to access the identity and access management, assign permissions, and manage permissions on the VRA environment. Organization member, he can just see the tabs. He can just see the respective services tabs, but he will not be able to access anything. Then individual service roles. So when we go to the individual services, each and every service has a cloud assembly administrator. We call CA cloud administrator user and CA viewer. Similarly, when you go to the service broker, you see called as a service broker administrator, service broker user, and service broker viewer. Similarly, in a code stream, we would see code stream administrator, then code stream user, code stream viewer. So in orchestrator, you have administrator and workflow designer, or we call orchestrator designer. Okay. So the administrator in the respective components, like where we see cloud assembly or a service broker or a core stream or orchestrator, they get full permissions on that respective service. Like example, in a cloud assembly administrator, he can add cloud accounts, he can create cloud zones, he can create projects, he can create images, he can create flavors, and you can create storage policies like tags and everything. Similarly, in a service broker administrator, he will be able to create catalogs, will be able to create approval policies, then assign basically the services to the users. And similarly, DevOps administrator can deploy the code, manage the code, create a project, and do anything. Similarly, orchestrator administrator can add endpoints into the workflow. Orchestrator, like similarly, user is basically a consumer who is going to consume the services in the respective areas. And viewer is basically gets a read-only privileges, privileges. So when we assign permissions, so we cannot directly assign a permissions to a user. So this is our AD environment. This is an AD environment, and this is your VRA environment. This is AD environment, and this is VRA environment. So create a groups in AD, matching the requirement. Add users into groups. Then we can use AD group to assign roles. So when we assign a role, based on the role, the user gets a permissions. Any user or a group should be part of the organization-wide role, then respective service role. So he can become an organization member and he can become a cloud assembly administrator. So here on the other components of the VRA, he will get the least privileges, may not have access to the other services, but however in the cloud assembly, he gets the full privileges. So I'm going to the AD. So we have created a groups called as a Cloud A admin, CA member, SB admin, and SB member, as we just created like in groups, and we added the users into the respective one. Similarly, we can create like in code stream admin. So we will just take an example of CA admin, CA member, SB admin, SB member. Now in the last class, in the last video, we have seen the integration of the AD. Now let me go to the VRA. Log in with administrator account. As we see from administrator account, we would see Cloud Assembly, Code Stream, Service Broker, and Orchestrator VRA Migration Assist. Go to Identity and Access Management. Check whether the users got replicated, synchronized. We will see users got synchronized from AD to Identity Manager, and from Identity Manager, VRA is able to fill the user accounts. Go to the enterprise groups. We can see no enterprise groups with roles assigned as of now. So click on Assign Roles. Search for an enterprise group. Cloud Assembly. Click on, it will search. It will display the list of all the groups which are going to match that particular word. We see there are two groups available, CA admin and CA member. Select CA admin. Organization roles. I'm giving organization owner. Then down we can see service roles. Add a service role. Select for what service you want to assign permissions. Now that specific user to which one. So I'm giving Cloud Assembly and Cloud Assembly Administrator user viewer. Now which role under this particular service you want to assign role. I'm selecting Cloud Assembly Administrator for a group called as a CA-admin. Say assign. I'm assigning a role again, CA. I'm saying a member, organization member. I'm saying assign a service, Cloud Assembly. I'm giving it called as a user. I'm removing administrator. I'm giving a privilege called as a viewer. Assign. Now if you want to provide to the multiple services, you can provide. You can add multiple service. Assign. Now for two groups, we provided a permission. Assign a roles. I'm going for service broker, admin, organizational member role. Assign a service. Selecting a service broker administrator. Assign a roles. Select an SB. A member. I'm saying organizational member, service broker user. I'm reviewing the service broker administrator. Assign. So like this, we can assign the roles to the AD groups. So as I said, first you have to create a groups in AD, synchronize them to the identity manager. Then we will be able to see then VRA. Then go to the login with administrator. Then assign, go to the identity and access management, then click on enterprise groups and assign permissions. Later point of time, if you want to modify the roles, select the user, click on edit roles. You can change the roles. If you want to remove the permissions for a specific group, select the group and say called as a remove access. Okay. Right. So let's go to the active users. Now we will be able to see that based on the permissions assigned to the group, CA admin, organization owner, organization member, organization member, organization member. Right side we can see service roles, service broker user, service broker administrator, cloud assembly owner. I'm going to the another browser. Let me log into the VRA. Change to a different domain. By default, it will be system domain. Select the domain name alvra.net or whatever the domain, your AD domain. C admin. I'm entering the AD user account who is part of the group called as a CA admin. Okay. So sign in. Now this user is part of an organization owner role and codes cloud assembly role. Now when I go to here, this user, organization owner and cloud assembly administrator. Let's switch over here. As we see organization, identity and access management, branding. As part of the organization owner, he gets access to the identity and access management and he can assign permissions. This is a permission which is coming from an organization owner. Similarly, branding, you can set the logo which you want to set it. Okay, and you can change the preview of this particular one, how it is going to look. Okay, cancel it. Now, as part of the services, we see only cloud assembly. He is not able to see other things because he has been given a role on cloud assembly administrator. So he gets cloud assembly services. Now he is able to see the cloud assembly menu items, deployments, design, infrastructure, extensibility, marketplace. Like he has, as a cloud assembly administrator, he gets full privileges on this particular cloud assembly service. I'm signing out. I will log in with SB admin. So I'm going to a user called as an SB admin. He is part of the organizational member and service broker administrator. SB admin. Make sure that you have the AD domain displayed over here. If not, change to a different domain and select it. Now, he is not able to get organizational menu items, identity and access management and branding because he is not organizational owner. He is only a member of the organization. But as he is an administrator for the service broker, he is able to see a service broker. And when he clicks on the service broker, he will be able to see the service broker items. So we are able to see the deployments, contents and policies. We can see infrastructure, approvals, and other things which we will be able to see it. Okay. So as part of the service broker, you can create approvals, contents, and policies, certain things which we'll be able to do. I'm signing out from here. This user. we see SB user, organizational member, service broker user role. I'm using SB user and make sure that you have the AD domain. Now he is a member of the organization member role and he is part of the service broker user role. So he will not be able to see the organization identity management branding, but he is able to see a service broker. He will be able to see service broker menu items, and we can see that he is able to see only the catalogs and approvals and deployments. He is not getting the infrastructure, he is not getting the content and policies and everything. As his user, he has a limited privileges on the service broker component. Right. This way, we can assign the roles into VRA environment. Right. In the next video, we'll look at how to add the cloud accounts